The time we signed one influencer, the most expensive influencer we ever signed, myself and Hano had a fight. Told him, don't sign. He said, no, I believe this person, most expensive person we ever signed.
Was it the worst result?
Yeah. I'm serious, the worst deliverable. Being able to understand psychographics and make meaningful decisions or recommendations based on that is very critical. Nowadays, we have like a lot of tools to really help, right? You've got Google Analytics, you've got Appsflyer, you've got Amplitude. Like, you've got a lot of things that you can really use to make informed decisions. When we went on Big Brother, that was when I realized we didn't have GA embedded in the website. So we weren't tracking anything. We're just getting leads, but we couldn't analyze anything. I hated data when I was on the agency side, and I loved strategy and presentations. I think that was a big mistake. It took me a while to realize data was extremely important
even in strategy.
Yeah. Strategy.
In January 2022, Coinbase invested $30 million in a Super Bowl ad as part of their Let's Talk More Bitcoin campaign. This ad featured a wandering QR code for 60 seconds and generated 20 million hits in 1 minute. As a result, the Coinbase app reached number 2 spot on Apple App Store for just that one campaign. Some of you might remember this campaign itself, but what a lot of you might not know is that behind this expensive but yet impactful piece of QR code was an Appsflyer solution that not only allowed Coinbase to create the QR code, but it also provided them with accurate data on the campaign's performance and the bottom line ROI and LTV of their current users. For this video, I'm excited to partner with Appsflyer, the most popular mobile measurement and marketing analytics platform in the world. It's trusted by almost 90,000 apps globally, providing mobile app marketers with a holistic view into their user acquisition and retention efforts. Now in this video, I'm going to be speaking with Rotimi Ogunwede. He's the Chief Marketing Officer of Patricia, one of the leading crypto platforms in Africa. I'm going to learn all about Rotimi's journey as a marketer from his agency days to leading Patricia's marketing for 3 years. I've learned about how he has managed to grow Patricia for a few thousand users to almost 1 million registered users on the platform, how they ran some of the biggest campaigns, like the Rebranding Patricia sponsorship 2 years in a row, how he did the rebrand, mistakes he has made, lessons, etc. If you're interested in how Patricia has grown in such a short time, and you're interested in learning from a marketing OG, then this is the video to watch to the end. So stay, grab your popcorns, subscribe to my channel, like the video, and let's get to the end of it. So Rotimi, it's very nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to a marketing masterclass from you because
I hope I won't.
Mostly because I saw your portfolio like a couple of weeks ago and I'm like,
okay.
Only OGs in marketing are able to put out a public portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just...
That was difficult.
But you did it anyway.
Well, I'll say I just sort of finessed it.
Okay, so then let's talk about your career. Tell me about your marketing career so far. How did you get into marketing, the companies that you've worked for?
Okay, it was circumstantial getting into marketing because I did computer science as a first degree.
Oh, not a microbiology or something
no.
Typical.
I was like a proper computer science, the whole Fortran, C++.
Yeah.
Still can't write a line of code, still can't make sense of it. But I like maths a lot, like I enjoyed mathematics. I ate further maths. So I was working in a networking firm in 2008 in Ikeja. So we used to like set up internet infrastructure for companies or houses. And I had a friend, Papa, who was working in an agency. So one day I went to visit him and I saw the agency in Ikeja. I was like, wow, this is nice. This looks pretty compared to where I'm coming from. And I was like, one day I'm going to work here. And I went back to my office, sent an unsolicited email. That was it. And I left it. And that was 2008, 2009. I went on to join the bank, joined GT Bank. I was in GT Bank for like another 18 months or 16 months, I can't remember.
Still in systems?
I was, so there I was not in operations, right? So I was, ATM support, back office support. Banking was fun, tie up and sort of tie
Fun? Okay.
And I still miss it, honestly. Like so it taught me a lot of things, like ownership culture, how to respect customers, and how to be more diligent. Like that means there's a culture to it.
Yeah.
Then I left the bank, and I said, you know what, I wanted to go into interior decor, right? So I set up an interior decor company, got a contract to set up a hotel, did the hotel, made some money, I bought a car.
Okay.
I was like, yeah,
That's
this is working. Then, out of the blues, I got an email from the agency. I sent an email to, this was in 2012, late 2012. Remember, I sent the email like 2008.
Yeah, it's like 4 years.
So I get an email saying they've scheduled me for an aptitude test. I was like, okay, let's do it. And it was a Saturday, there was a marathon in Lagos. My friend took my car to Ikorodu. There was no way for me to get to the test venue. So then I was living in Surulere, so I had to walk from the house to Ojuelegba to get a bus to Ikeja. I was like the last person to arrive at the building, did the test, left, did 5 interviews, and did my medicals. The day before the medicals, I went drinking with my friends. So I was like, I bombed this, like my blood work is going to show excessive alcohol. But then they called me up to say, oh, you got a job, come start as an account exec. I'm like, okay.
What agency was this?
This was OMD, Media Reach OMD. I mean, so when I was joining, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, right? But turns out I was joining the biggest agency in Nigeria and the second biggest agency globally. I didn't know, right? I just joined, like, okay, let's take up the job. And that was how I got into marketing, right? I didn't take up the job because I saw it as a career path. I think it was in a very experimental phase. Hey, let's see, vibes, right? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, so that's how I got into it. Yeah.
So, I mean, at Patricia, you guys have grown like really fast in the last 3 years. Multiple products, 2 different companies now, right? There's global,
actually.
yeah.
But yeah, everybody knows 2.
Yeah, so like lots of products, lots of growth. Sponsored Big Brother Nigeria like twice.
Yeah, twice.
So like just let's go into marketing. First of all, right, when you entered the marketing team, what was it like there? Were you the first person in? Did they already have an existing team?
So there was a team, and the team was pretty much people winging it. Everybody was just helping. Smart
How many
people
were on the team?
So when I joined, there were like 10 to 12 people.
Or like on a marketing team?
Yeah, but so that included cinematographers, editor, animator, motion designer, and video editor. So inclusive of the production team.
Yeah.
About 12 people. I think the core marketing team for Patricia now is about 8 or 10.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the marketing initiatives or campaigns that you've done that you're like, you really did like a thing with these ones?
Over the course of my career?
No, 3 years at Patricia specifically.
I think the first one would be 2020 when we went on Big Brother the first time, right? I think that was a very phenomenal point in our lives, and that was a very pivotal point in crypto. Prior to then, no crypto company had advertised on TV Africa-wide. So we were the first to do it. We didn't know what to expect, right? Whether people were going to abuse us or people were going to accept us. But I was like, you know what? It's worth trying. And I had interacted with a startup here in the UK, a fintech startup that had, some form of marketing campaign, and it gave me an idea like, okay, we can do something like this in Nigeria. So I called my team and I said, this is what I want to do. This is how we need to execute it. And I got the motion designer as well. And I said, guys, how do we bring this to life? The guys were like, yes, this is going to work. I was like, internally, yes, we know it's going to work, but also consider people that are going to be on the receiving end. And we didn't even have intentions of going on Big Brother. That's the weirdest part. So we started advertising on music channels like Trace, Sound City, MTV Base, just to get entertainment part of it. And we had a lot of influencers at the time, so it sounded like a match made in heaven. Just take a cue with it, blending with the entertainment industry. So we started getting like a few traction from there. Oh, we saw your ad on Trace. Oh, we saw your ad on. Then we had another partnership with Trace and Sound City. Their music programs like Top 10 Countdowns. And we started building momentum from there, and it was getting, like we were seeing steady traction. And we're like, okay, what else do we do, right? And Big Brother started. That's the irony. Like, Big Brother was already on. And Cameron sends me a message one day and says, can we get on Big Brother? I said, yeah, but why? It was just like, yeah, that's like, I'm like, yeah, we can, but why do you want to do it? It's like, I don't know.
Do the most.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we have a mantra internally where we outspend, but not anymore. So whatever it is we want to do, like we do it, we just go out of our way to do it. And ask the team as well, like, what do you guys think, right? And they're like, oh yeah, that might be a good idea. So I went back, sort of did an evaluation of the show, and people were at home. People weren't going anywhere. Big Brother was on for 3 months, 24 hours. That's what people were watching. So like, yeah, let's do it. So we did ad placements. So we started small, right? Ad placements, because more like A/B testing, and we saw traction. Oh, they were like, you know what? Let's ask for more, and we went ahead to do the task, right? And that day was like the turning point, because when it was a Saturday, and that day we were having 18,000 sign-ups an hour.
An hour.
Yeah. It was brutal, because we didn't anticipate that sort of response, but like, it was phenomenal, and we're breaking, like, we're shutting down. Servers we're like consuming more bandwidth than regular. I'm like, okay, this is good, right? So, and I mean, when we started, we had, I think we were like 100K users, registered users. Within like 2-3 weeks of being on Big Brother, we're already at 300K. Yeah, so it was
massive growth in a very short
massive growth in like a month, and that meant a lot of things, right? You have to scale up every other department. More like, marketing has not created a good problem, but it was the pandemic still, so you had to hire within the pandemic, remotely, and still continue to serve customers and scale your systems. Yeah, so it was, I think that's it.
That's it. So, but there has to be others, maybe not as big as Big Brother, but like what other initiatives say that, yeah, this was like,
I mean, yeah. Now it's going to sound like Patricia was a startup, or still a startup. When I joined, Patricia had nothing when it comes to email marketing. I sent the first email. Like, I personally designed the banner. I remember it was one Easter newsletter. I put 6 eggs in different colors and the Patricia logo. And I called Sonny. Now let's start testing. I think then we're using Aweber. Yeah. Send me the test. No, it's not working. Let's adjust this. So like, I implemented email marketing within. Now we have like, it goes without saying. Yeah. And so I think that's one. The other one is, when we went on Big Brother, that was when I realized we didn't have GA embedded on the website. Yeah, so we weren't tracking anything. We're just getting leads, but we couldn't analyze anything.
And that was going to be my next question, because when you talked about doing trace and doing this, I'm like, how did you guys attribute all of that?
We did, so I mean,
these vibes.
It was just, so I assumed that the product team had done that. But now we started advertising massively. People are coming, and I'm asking product, so where are these guys coming from? I'm like, I'm gonna check Metabase. I'm like, what? No, can't you give me access to the GA? I'm like, what GA? I'm like, oh my God, you guys didn't embed that. I'm like, no, if you want to tell us, then so that was like another part, right? So, and I said, then I had hired a digital marketing manager, who is not the head of marketing, that's Ayala. and that was like his baby. Get Google Analytics embedded on the website, and I mean a fourth product came next to get that done. But so that was done, and that meant, then I started working with Sean, that was the chief product officer, on getting in-app trackings as well to understand user drop-offs, churn rates, and that's how we ended up Appsflyer embedded on the website and the mobile app as well. So that was, I think that campaign helped us implement analytics properly. Yeah.
And now, after you had analytics, how do you then pick your channels? Even now, because you guys have done in 3 years, I've seen a lot of campaigns, I've seen a lot of influencers, I've seen a lot of giveaways. Like, there's so many things, and you also said, right, at some point, the mantra was like, outspend.
Yeah.
But now, I assume that you're focusing more on like quality channels and just work. So how have you sort of evolved into not just outspending now, and how do you like sort of pick the specific things that you do instead of just like going all hard in everywhere?
So I think it's also, that is a function of we also driving business direction, right? It's one thing to be publicly known, like everybody knows you and everybody wants to work with you, but that also creates another problem. Everybody wants to hack you. Right, so at the peak of it, we were getting brute force like what, maybe 20 a day, like consistently, like back to back, and engineering teams were under pressure, and we now needed to also attract talents, top talents that would help us scale our systems, and that's not just traditional marketing. Like you're not going to go on Big Brother to do that. You're not just going to do a TV commercial or you put yourself on a billboard and that's it, right? And that's how we morphed into thought leadership, right? And the industry didn't have anything at the time. Like crypto was just, everybody was just using it, like, trading, but there wasn't anything in terms of like guidance or thought leadership. And we established that for the industry. And we started with looking at conferences and summits and partnerships where we can really, speak and get the word out, rather than advertising on TV. So we sort of changed direction away from just advertising to being deliberate about where we want the impact to really go to. So that's what has happened in the world last maybe one and a half years. Yeah, so
that makes sense. And what about user education? Because like for a long time, crypto was not very mainstream, and I think it was when Patricia came on board that like it became very, very mainstream, and then there's also like a lot more competitors now. But I know that at some point there had to be a lot of user education, and that's kind of even where thought leadership comes from. Like, so if you could just share more around how you guys have approached customer education and even like the customer support part of it as well, because like with 200,000 users in 1 month more, that would have been like
kudos to the relations team. They deal with a lot of crazy feedback from our customers, and then the product and marketing team were able to come up with a product marketing plan that had user education series. So we have like a crypto bible where different words, A to Z, I think it's on the website, you can learn, right? We also have a Learn platform where people can go and learn about crypto, and that also led us to creating like a daily news briefing of what's going on in the crypto world. Like, this is happening, this has happened, this entity is collapsed, or this is USDC, or this is stable coins, that sort of thing. And I think this is where it gets interesting as well, right? An African startup scaling crypto and its adoption, and people also need user education, meant internally people also needed to educate themselves and keep up with the trend. So that means as a business, we needed to align ourselves with a global direction rather than say we just want to amass customers. Now we have over 1 million registered customers. So more problems, more users, but we have to be more direct in how we or more, not direct, more deliberate in how we come across. So if you notice, I mean, Patricia of 2020 and now are like two different worlds, right? We did a lot. We redesigned ourselves, we rebranded, changed our colors, we redesigned the logo. A lot of people won't know what the logo was redesigned.
What was the idea behind
that?
branding?
I mean, so the rebranding came after the first Big Brother, right? So we were like really well known, and we had, I mean, in like a week, we have like what, every week maybe 5 scam pages pop up. You know, just create an handle, Patricia, put a logo, take pictures, slam it. People go there, they get scammed of their assets. Then when they find the real Patricia, they come and complain, oh, Patricia scammed me. You know, and that continued to like happen. And then I said we needed to rebrand because one, they wouldn't expect a rebrand. And we needed to do it properly. In fact, Hannah was against it. He was like, no, this is what, I was like, don't worry. So I sat down with the team. We started with a color, choosing color and also identifying what those colors meant to the world and also to the business. And redesigning the website, redesigning the mobile app, redesigning our social strategy.
I mean, rebrand is redesigning everything.
Yeah, and it was, kudos to the guys, you know, like it was a lot. And on January 1st, 2021, the rebranding kicked in. A lot of people might not notice, but that was the day the logo changed, the color changed, postal schedules changed, everything on socials changed. And Patricia's social pages rather, went to 0 posts. So like, out with the old, in with the new. So whatever you've seen before,
You won't see it again.
you won't see it again. And some people thought we were hacked, right? And scammers couldn't imitate being hacked, right? So they wanted to continue regular programming, but they didn't know we were like doing the rebranding. So that's one of the things that actually led to we rebranding and also refocusing ourselves.
Yeah, and did that have the desired impact as you wanted?
Oh yeah, it did. It did, because it was a lot easier for people to identify us at that time. And we had it, we also redesigned, I mean, well, it's a rebranding, right? So our speak changed, tone changed, how we relate to customers also changed, right? So you can tell when you're talking to actual Patricia and when you're not.
Right.
So that helped to build confidence in the minds of the customers. And that was when we also went for, you know, page verifications across, you know, social platforms as well. And it was a lot more easier because they could see the work that had been done, like in terms of the rebranding, the website, and like, okay, this really is what these people are. And it was just, like, it worked. So now all we have to say, oh, just look for the verified page. As at then, no crypto company had a verified page.
Yeah.
We were the first to have a verified page. Meta wasn't going to verify any crypto business because they weren't allowing it, crypto businesses.
Yeah.
So like we sort of created a sense of legitimacy for the industry that is existing in Africa today.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I dare say it. Anyone that wants to like counter it should come and we can argue it out.
Makes sense. One of my final questions is, what would you say are the twofold marketing mistakes that you've made, but then also the lessons that you've learned? So the lessons do not necessarily have to come from mistakes. It could be, oh, we did this, we did it right, and that becomes like a key thing. But then also I want to know if there are maybe a specific campaign that failed and you're like, damn, we should not have done this way before. So 2 different questions-ish.
I mean, the second Big Brother, it didn't fail, but it didn't deliver what we expected, right?
Expected that have 300K users in 2 months.
I mean, so I guess that's what happens with growth, right? When you break into the public or into mass market, your adoption rate is always faster than your growth rate. And crypto was experiencing a massive uptick, and we had assumed that was going to be sustainable, right, by global trends, right? What we didn't factor into our plans was that tech companies are or tech stocks are going to start tanking. We didn't factor in the effects of the aftermath of COVID. Because everybody just felt like, oh, this is going to continue. And when the real ramifications of COVID started creeping into the world, we started seeing a reverse of all the gains that had happened across every business, right? Especially crypto. And that meant people were pulling funds out of different asset classes. And that's when we went on to advertise. And crypto was, dipping. Like the winter sort of started. So it was a case of, I put money at 40K, now it's 36K. And you're advertising, right? So customer adoption wasn't the same way anymore because a lot of people got in for the wrong reasons. They just wanted to make quick money, right? And some people got burnt and they're like, never, I won't do it again. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I would say we made and we learned from. And we've sort of perfected after that experience to look at global economics and see, like the long-term effect before we make certain decisions, when it comes to marketing. And I think a lot of people probably say, oh, Patricia hasn't advertised in a long time. We do advertise, but we are just very strategic about how we go about it. We no longer go the route of, I'll spend. Now it's more like I'll think how to really get it done. Yeah. So I'll say, that's one. And we learned a hard lesson, from that one. Second lesson would be, we went back on TV for one of our products and it was stock failure. 3 months of advertising spend and it yielded nothing. Like zero. That was a hard lesson. But it helped us realize that for that particular product, our core customers weren't watching TV. So sometimes you make some mistakes like that and you just have to learn from it. Yeah. So I think, that's another one.
Two big failures. Yes. But like just in terms of even building a team, tracking, just like core marketing lessons. And I'm asking specifically for other marketers that want to learn. I want to be CMO one day, right? Like, hey, these are the things that I have to do, or these are the things that you can learn even in like your day-to-day currently as a marketer, but then also in terms of like growing into leadership as well. This is how you want to be able to think about it.
Okay, loads of lessons around that. So, building a team, I think is one of the hardest things anyone can do because you're bringing people with different backgrounds, upbringing, and culture together, and you can't project yourself onto them. You can't project your belief, your ideologies onto them. No matter what you hold there, you need to understand that people also hold their certain beliefs to themselves. So the ability to be accepting and, I don't want to say liberal, but more, I think that the word is accepting, right? More accepting of people's flaws, mistakes, and realities as well would really help. Because, so like in the middle of the pandemic, when we were working from home, so in my estate I have 24 hours light, right? But not everybody has 24 hours light. Yeah. So that gets me frustrated when I needed something like, boss, I don't have lights, or I don't have, so I have to mentally take myself out of my reality and put myself in their reality as well and say, okay, this might actually be why this is happening. So making it like you need to be able to accept, people's differences and absolute realities. Then I would say it's important to have people on your team who want to be there. Right? Sometimes, we make mistakes and say, this person has been with the business for 10 years. We can't just let this person go, or we can't ask the person to go. What if the person is longer contributing? It's a team, right? So it's like a football team. Everybody doesn't have to be in agreement, but everyone has to be in alignment. And a lot of people might not understand, but like if you look at a football team, the objective of the striker is to score. the objective of the defender is to ensure that no ball gets through, right? So two different objectives. So they're not in agreement, but they're in alignment that the team has to win, right? So being able to have that structure for your team is important. We don't have to agree, but we need to be in alignment that it's for the greater good. Yeah. So ensuring that you have people that really want to be on the team and also believe in your work or the work that you're doing is important. Don't just have people that, passing time. They would really, really destroy the morale of the team, because they won't deliver work. They'll be crazy. Yeah. Then leadership, I think that's hard. People have different problems they're going to come to you with. Then you have to find a way to balance your overview of the business, right, and the people's expectations. So it's a bit conflicting, right, when as a leader so now like people come and say, I want a salary increase. And I'm like, okay, I've heard you. But I'm having a conversation at the C level and we're looking at the wrong way. Like, we can't, if we freeze our salaries now, at whatever it is now, we would have runway for, say, 6 months. Now, let's see, 4 people have asked me for a salary increase. I cannot bring it up because I know that this freeze gives us 6 months, right? If you make any change, it cuts it down. So do I want to cut it down for everyone, or I want to maintain status quo? But don't forget, to your team, I've told boss that, but boss is not getting back to me. So being able to balance, your overview of the business and people's expectations of you and of the business
is a critical one.
Yeah, is one thing that you really, really need to learn, and you can't tell people everything.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part. Like saying, I can't pay you more because it's going to upset the person. So you have to find a way to be diplomatic, right?
Yeah.
And just find the right words to convey, your intention or your I don't know how to put it, but it can be very hard. And then try to avoid emotions as much as possible, because when you make decisions when you're emotional, you most likely make the wrong one.
Yeah, makes sense. Now give me marketing lessons. For instance, Sadiq is advertising, CDMS in advertising. So he wants to pursue a career around advertising, communications, marketing. So if you think about people like him who want to build a career in marketing, what are the marketing lessons that you want to pass out?
First, you need to learn user behavior. User behavior is extremely important because user behavior guides purchases, guides adoption, user behavior guides customer reaction as well. So being able to sort of create personas, and I think we used to call them psychographics. I don't know if they're still called psychographics. So you have demographics, which is like age, sex, look. Then you have psychographics, which is like
their behavior.
Yeah, their behavior. But so more importantly
is just my agency days.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like agency days, you call them psychographics. So being able to understand psychographics and make meaningful decisions or recommendations based on that is very critical, right? And I think nowadays we have like a lot of tools to really help, right? You've got Google Analytics, you've got like Appsflyer, you've got tons of amplitude. Like you've got a lot of things that you can really use to make informed decisions. Maybe like, so I mean, there was a time this is personal experience now with Patricia, right? We went back into the BI and we're looking at transactions, and we realized, and this is customer behavior, we realized that the average transaction size was $200. We had thought it was like bigger because like transactions were coming, but when we drilled them, we realized the average transaction size was $200. Now it sounds small, like $200, and that helped us make a better decision in terms of our pricing and our model, right? Because you need to make money available, right? So somebody wants to sell assets to you at $200. The person selling $200, what's that person's persona and behavior, right? He needs the money almost immediately. It doesn't, and the person probably isn't extremely rate sensitive. How much can you give me? Okay, I'll take it, right? So you need to put that into perspective so that it can help you make a better business decision and also a better marketing decision. People that are spending average of $200, I don't need to go to what? Zanzibar to get them. I don't know if you like. You don't have to spend in a luxurious manner to attract them, right? But if my average ticket was 5K, then I know, okay, I need to look at like LV ballers and that kind of. So being able to analyze user behavior and persona is very, very critical, and using it to make decisions. I think with that, like you're on to greater things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, my last and final question.
Okay.
Is there anything, not necessarily like mistakes, but just anything that if you're going to get that Patricia offer today, you would do differently?
If I was going to...
No, let me ask a different question.
Okay.
Like from OMD to Samsung to Max to MD to Patricia, is there already any things that you would have done completely differently in your career as a marketer?
That's hard. That's hard.
And or what is the one thing that really sticks out for you in your career? Maybe when you think about just how far you've come, or the kind of product you've been able to work with. Like, what's the two different questions? So you can, if you don't have the answer on the first one, I'm letting you go.
No, I think I should be able to answer both, right? So, for the first one, right, I would say I hated data when I was on the agency side, and I loved strategy and presentations. I think that was a big mistake. It took me a while to realize data was extremely important into
even in strategy.
Strategy, right? So I was heavily invested in beautiful presentations and speaking and delivering, and I think that has really worked well for me, right? So if you give me 30 slides, now I'm expecting to present it in next 1 minute. I haven't seen a slide before. I will do it without seeing what's there. I don't need to know the topic. I would deliver it. But I realized understanding the data behind what you want to say helps you make better delivery, right? So I learned too late, not too late, but I learned a lot later how important data was. And my line managers always try to get me to like, data is important, but it's just like, just present it nice like this. But it took me a while to realize like data is gold. Like it's the life of whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. 100.
Yeah. The second question, what sticks out? I'm stubborn. Yeah, like I think a lot of people won't do what I've been like. A lot of people won't throw the line that I have, followed to get to where I am. A lot of people. I have a lot of friends that we started an agency together or met in the agency. I think a lot of people are not risk takers, and I used to be able to take a lot of risks compared to now, but I still take risks. I mean, moving halfway across the world is a big risk, and we're not knowing what's going to happen. But some people can't make that decision. And because they're like, fear of the unknown, they don't know what's on there. But then, what's on the other end could also be the best thing that can happen, in your life. So I can take risks. I think that's one thing that I mean, when I was leaving OMD, that was a big risk. Like I had, like when I was managing Diageo was billing easy $2 billion a year, right? So how many people on the agency sides had portfolio that huge? Some agencies don't even have a $2 billion billing. So I was just like, I'll take this risk nonetheless, right?
But it has paid off.
But I mean, it could have also failed, right?
Yeah.
And I think, I can't say everything has been 100%, right? I mean, there are days that I'm like asking myself, like, yo, what's going on? I mean, just today, I had a call with my team and they're like, oh boss, so there's this problem, and I said to her, I said, can you people stop bringing problems? So there are moments where I sort of feel like, I mean, I look at people and I'm like, did I make the wrong decision? But then again, I'm like, no, you didn't, because, and I think because I don't compare myself to people,
Yeah.
I think that has really helped me. Just don't compare yourself, because if you start comparing yourself, you're just going to fall into, you know, depression, and you're like, oh shit, like what's going on? You know, like it's, people's paths and trajectories are different, right? And I think the other people sort of accept and realize that the happier people would be, you know. Like Adia, for instance, right? She's with MTN. If I'm trying to compare myself to her, then I'll be doing myself a disservice, and I'll also be doing her career a disservice as well. Because she's worked extensively. But to some people, they're like, who is she? How did she? I should be able to do that. No, like you don't.
Just don't jump in.
Yeah, don't jump into it, because you don't know how hard one person has worked to get to that point, right? And I don't. People say luck, but my personal belief, luck is preparation that met opportunity. So be prepared, and when the opportunity comes, you take it.
That's a really good word to end the video on. Luck and opportunities. No, preparation and
yes.
opportunities.
I say time and chance, right? But be prepared, and when the opportunity comes, I mean, there are opportunities, right? But if you're prepared, you can really just take the opportunity and run with it.
Makes sense. You don't know how much I've learned about Patricia and marketing today. But I have.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so it's very, I mean, I think these conversations are really good just because I've seen a lot from the outside. I've interviewed Hannah before as well.
Yeah,
but like that conversation and this conversation are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was like very much him, the vision. This is a bit more in depth, and I'm a marketing person, so like it's even much more interesting for me to like.
I hope so.
I kind of see the thinking behind it, and also like just lessons.
But I know I didn't go into like analytics. Like maybe people would expect me to talk about like cost of acquisition, lifetime value, and all those kind of things.
But it's too boring for you.
No, but like I think a lot of people just won't get it.
Yeah, true.
Because if I tell you cost of acquisition of Patricia, you'll be probably like, what the hell? Nah. I mean, it's crypto, right? So cost of acquisition is going to be very expensive.
Yeah, and with the advertising channels that you use as well.
Yeah. So, like I was talking to a guy who, the cost of acquisition was 0.04p.
Like CPA or like cost per click? Like actual?
No.
Like acquired user?
Yes. Like when I was, I said, Rotimi, I'm going to show you. And he showed me, and I was like, how? I was like,
what industry?
So it's a startup that's focused on disability. So in a way, it sounds, I'm like, really? But then when I really thought about it, it just focused on like forums and groups that already had
the same people,
right? So it was fairly easy to just target them, and the acquisition just
rolls in.
You know, and they're spending like small money on like us, where Google won't let you advertise, Meta won't let you advertise, YouTube won't let you advertise.
So you have to go like to the more traditional channels.
Yeah, you have to use influencer to break through the clutter.
Yeah.
Influencer is, you don't even know whether this person has great conversion, but the person has 1 million followers and 500k likes, and like, okay, let's try it. Chunk of the influencers don't even know what conversion is. Like, that's a story for another day. They just say I have 5 million followers, so.
But then how do you pick the influencers?
Yeah, but I think it's now that leveraging influencers has become a lot more interesting. Before, it was really more about popularity, right? Who is this person? This person is known. Okay, let's use the person. But in terms of actual conversion, I don't want to talk about it, because the person is probably going to kill me.
Just give me 2 minutes.
No, there was a time we signed one influencer, the most expensive influencer we ever signed. I'm not going to mention the person's name. And myself and Hannah had a fight. I told him, don't sign. He said, no, I believe this person. I said, like, we were at loggerheads, and I said, this person is not going to deliver. I said, don't worry, I believe the person will deliver. See now, there's this guy. I said, all right, cool, let's do it. Most expensive person we ever signed
Was it the worst result?
Yeah. I'm serious. The worst deliverable. Not. I can't say that guy delivered 100 customers. And this person has millions of followers.
That's a very terrible conversion.
Yeah, like, but guess what? I'm saying this person has followers that are diehard. Couldn't convert 100.
Interesting. But here, Rotimi, it's been very interesting just learning about
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
We should have more off-camera marketing war stories.
Ah,
For sure.
I'm sure they're like,
A part of me wants to bring like a bunch of CMOs together and just like talk about our war stories.
oh, at least
I
I
think
probably have like terrible stories from different
I
people.
think there's definitely a lot to learn here. So I would circle back to the idea. But yeah, thank you for having this conversation. I mean,
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Really
you
enjoyed
guys
it.
for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.
Peace.